Hey guys, this is sort of a B-side, an extra bonus track from our discussion with Alasdair Macleod from goldmoney.com. And after our initial conversation ended, I stopped recording the call, but then we were having such a dynamic conversation, I hit record again, and so this one picks up sort of midstream. And it turned into a pretty interesting discussion about the precious metals to fiat exchange, the value bargain that is. And in this one, we also mention our friend SilverFishVT, whose YouTube channel we do appreciate. So I hope you enjoy this liner notes, this bonus track with Alasdair Macleod.
I mean, I'm very happy. I just don't want to bore people. And, I know around the dinner table, I try not to talk about, about this because, normally when people are happy, they don't want to talk to someone who's spreading gloom and doom.
Yeah, I hear you. I've always said that I have to compartmentalize my life, too, because it's the same
Yeah.
exact thing. I have to compartmentalize if I want to have
Yeah.
any friends.
Now, I want to ask both of you guys a question, and it was something that came up during the conversation. And I think it was you, Sean. You were talking about the people waking up and actually acquiring physical gold and physical silver because they understand that their dollars are no good, their euros are no good, their yen is no good. From my perspective, my mom she's 72 and she's healthy as a horse and her mind is as sharp as a tack, but she will not understand gold. And she grew up in a time when gold was money, was actually currency. And
Yeah.
she grew up in a time when silver was currency. And today, gold and silver are jewelry in her mind.
It was, the cost of a cup of coffee at Starbucks yesterday is the same as it is today. You know that your dollar is constant. You also know that over a period of time, it loses its purchasing power. But for all practical purposes, between you getting your paycheck and you spending it, you've got constancy. And not only do you know that's true, but by God, you really have to believe it's true, because to think anything else is a major confusion in life. And you're then sort of talking about, how do I value different things? Because if you've got to barter your dollars at the same time as you're bartering your cup of coffee, I mean, this gets so damn confusing. And this is why everybody actually wants to believe that the dollar is the constant, and it's not the dollar that is changing value, but it's the cup of coffee. So if your Starbucks tomorrow's gone up by 5 cents or something, you say, God, coffee's gone up 5 cents. You don't actually think that what's happened is your dollar's gone down.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Yeah.
And that's the problem. You will never ever get the majority of the population thinking that it's the dollar whose value is changing in the transaction rather than the good or service that you're actually buying.
And also, you guys, it's the totality of the education, right?
Right.
So most of the people with whom we refer, your mom, for instance, Rory, they're not educated on these things. That's why I'm serious when I say it's a foreign language. I mean, it really is, because if you don't understand central banking, if you don't understand fractional reserve banking, if you don't understand usurious interest rates, if you don't understand gold's role in tying down things, you can't possibly make a judgment on, turning fiat into precious. You can't make that judgment. You don't have the education.
I tell you what's interesting. What's interesting in this is the Asian perspective on this. I mean, the Indians have known that their currency just goes down and down and down and down. Now they will use rupees for transactions in the same way as your mum does, Rory. But because the rupee has gone down that much more quickly, they know that gold is the best long-term protection against that loss of purchasing power. So that's why India is such an importer of gold. But of course, we've had long periods of being banned from even owning the damn stuff, other than in jewelry form. And when we're talking jewelry form, we're not talking jewelry as a sort of substitute for a store of value. No, we're talking about jewelry with a huge, great markup on the price of gold. So we have had that sort of thinking taken away from us, and it's going to be very difficult to get it back. I suspect that nobody will really think this through. We will start buying gold in the West basically when the price rises. Why? Because the price is rising. And it's just, we're not going to be buying it because we think that, this is the best protection against a complete collapse. I mean, there'll be sort of, a few nuts in the background like us talking about this sort of thing. But hell, I'm going to buy it because it's going up.
Well, the average person, yeah. The average person will chase it higher. But, I just want to say before we let you go, but I want to back you up and say something about the Indians and that culture, and the culture of seeing precious metals as a tangible display of and store of wealth. I mean, I love that because once I adopted that thinking, I stopped beating myself up every time I wrote a $1,200 or $1,500 or $2,200 or $4,000 check to get more silver and or gold. And the reason I stopped beating myself up is that if I look at it as an exchange of equal value and potentially much more value on my side, you get the same joy out of it as buying a new LED TV or even a new car. You get that same rush of buying something really cool. You get to engage in that consumer rush, and yet you're not wasting your money on something that will only go down in value, like an LED TV or a car. That's what I love about it.
That's a very interesting point, because if you just put aside a tiny bit of money every week, like you can buy an ounce of silver.
Yeah.
And then at the end of the year, you've got 50 odd ounces of silver, and you think, I've actually got something.
Yeah.
And what you say is interesting, and I think that psychology in terms of saving for the longer term does make so much sense. And this was really brought home to me. I went to Bombay, or Mumbai as they call it now, in 1965, and at that time you could buy an ounce of gold cost, I think in rupees, about 160, 170 rupees. The price today is over 90,000. So, as the family pension fund, as it were, and the Indians are very family oriented, it just makes so much sense. And that's why they do it. That is why they have this insatiable demand for gold, because they know they don't actually care what the price is today, tomorrow, whatever. They just know that the rupee is going to continue to go down, and nothing can match protection against the rupee outside gold.
Yeah. And it's fun. It's just fun to acquire it. And, it's called saving. When you exchange.
Well, this is what they do. I mean, exactly. They buy it in the form of jewelry for their wives. That's and right. The markup on turning pure gold into jewelry is something like 10%.
Yeah, it's really amazing. Rory, what is the name of that channel that we like? Occasionally we'll post the stuff from the YouTube channel of the nice guy. And he talks about his silver, and he's very philosophical about his approach.
Is that Paul Sandu?
No. It's the silver. It's a silver guy, and sometimes he'll have his little kids involved. You'll hear their voices.
Oh, SilverFish. SilverFishVT.
SilverFishVT. SilverFishVT is one of these guys, Alasdair, who has a YouTube channel that has been, I think, really inspirational to a lot of people, because he takes that very pragmatic approach, and he's very serious about his saving, quote-unquote investing, but really saving his hard-earned money in the form of precious metals, because he sees the value exchange. He sees the value bargain that we have in exchanging fiat at 2021 for silver and at 1,300 or 1,350 for gold. There is an intrinsic value in that exchange that he sees, and sometimes people who he knows will beat him up and say, why are you spending all this money on gold and silver? You're obsessed with it. And I think that's hilarious, because the obsession is with the saving. And I love that, because most Americans, saving is so foreign to most Americans that most people in this country don't have a pot to piss in when it comes to their own retirement.
Yeah, I know. I mean, I firmly place the blame on governments for this, because Western governments have turned around and they just, if you save, they tax you. Even the Keynesians say, well, people who save are just taking, they're being selfish, they're taking consumption out of the economy, which is the biggest load of rubbish you can ever imagine. And instead they're saying, well, you don't need to worry about your future. We will provide you with a pension. We will look after your health. And the result is that the state has now got just so much liability, it cannot discharge those earlier promises. And we've got no savings. It's gone. And it is really the worst of both worlds for people who would otherwise, I think, have have been sensible and put money aside for their retirement and not become a burden on the state.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Anyway, what's an I'll have a look. Silverfish, is it VT or TV?
VT.
No, VT, like Vermont.
Oh, right, right.
SilverFishVT. You can Google him and do a YouTube search, and his channel will come up. He's a nice guy.
He's a really nice guy, and I had forgotten about that aspect of it, Sean, as far as his approach and bringing his children into it, and his kids are get all excited, and now he has taught them what the government has beat out of everybody else. That saving is cool, and that this is real money, and
that's right. And the kids are excited about it, and that's a great way to teach other people on YouTube that discover his videos too. And I don't know, I guess I might make this an extra video that we post, and this is a nod to SilverFishVT, guys. Subscribe to SilverFishVT. I'll put a link below. And this has been a fun conversation. This is the liner notes, this is the flip side. This is the B-side to the album, Alasdair. The conversation was officially done, and we kept on talking, just like we always do with you. You're so nice.
But I think, am I not right in remembering that I think the first time we did this, you released it as a sort of extra?
I may have. I don't know. You're very popular. You're one of our most popular guests. You always get a boat.
Well, I'm flattered.
You are. Yeah, I think I should do a search right now. I mean, I think our last one probably has 20,000 with you, 20,000 views. I don't know. I mean, for us, that's pretty good.
Yeah.
But anyway, we do appreciate your time, and we should probably let you get back to your Saturday.
No, not at all.
It's time for cocktails where you're at.
It's past time for cocktails.
What time is it there?
It's about 20 to 7.
Oh, okay. Not too late.
So,
okay.
Yes. But
just so you know, Alasdair, I haven't had a drink in 12 years.
Really?
Yep.
Well, no wonder you sound so fit.
Yeah. I can't say the same.
That's how I'm able to get gold and silver.
Yes. Yeah. Good point. Yes. Your savings go to gold and silver instead. Must be worth a fortune by now, Rory.
All right.
Oh,
you guys
well, anyway, it's great talking to you guys again, and I'm very happy to do it.
Oh, good.
Whenever. Yeah.
Good. Well, we don't want to wear you out, but we sure do appreciate it.
That's probably going to be a really good time going into the fall.
I think so.
Yeah.
So.
There'll be QE4 by then, I should think. Anyway, and let me know when next time you want me on, and
okay, I will.
I'd be delighted to.
Absolutely, and I'll send you a link to this. This will be posted sometime tomorrow night.
That's lovely. Thanks very much indeed.
Okay, thank you, sir.
Okay, take care, Sean.
Keep up the good work.
And you, Rory. Bye.
Bye. All righty. Well, all right, brother. Thank you.
All right, man. Have a good one.
Have a good weekend. Bye.
You too. Bye-bye.